Welcome to Paid and Proven. We are coming to you live. You might be catching us live or the replay, but if you like to join live, you can check us out on the GrowthHit page on LinkedIn or on YouTube. Today, I'm super duper excited. I know in the most recent episodes, we've gotten really technical, really tactical. And today, I'm thrilled to be talking with some incredible experts in the fashion space when it comes to ad creative and really bring in the artistry of it all, which on the surface may seem simpler than it is. So today I have Andrea from the GrowthHit team. She is our leading fashion paid ads expert internally. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And we have Eileen from Mestiza New York. Eileen has really been the brains behind a lot of the digital marketing efforts to help Mestiza break into e-commerce. You guys have been crushing it on retail. People love your stuff. And it's been such an amazing journey watching you take that directly to people online at a greater scale. So thank you so much for joining, Eileen.
Thanks for having me. Thrilled to be here.
Yeah. And before we get into it, I'd love to give you both an opportunity if you want. What's the best way to follow your work, Eileen, while we have people?
Absolutely. So definitely check us out on Instagram. We're at Mestiza_NY. That's where you'll see everything that's coming out, all of the fun things we're working on, trunk shows that we're popping up at, and then you can check us out at mestizanewyork.com to see all of our new product. We recently launched our new summer collection, so that's really exciting. It's a lot of optimistic, fun prints and dresses, and ready to wear for every soiree you have coming up. So check us out there.
It is so beautiful. I know Andrea and I, every time you send us images, we are just so delighted that we get to test them.
I want everything.
Everything would look great on you. You need a vacation coming up. Yeah, this is one of our favorite shoots ever. So it's some of my favorite imagery too.
I love that. Andrea, what were you going to say?
Now that I always saw the pictures of the photos, I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like the dresses, everything. So I'm like, yeah, I want everything always.
The marketer's dilemma. Yes. We see so much. Yeah, it's really stunning and beautiful. So today, I think, is kind of a celebration of the GrowthHit Mestiza partnership. We've been working together for so long. So I think today what we did is we put together for everyone just a little snapshot. It's by no means comprehensive, but a little snapshot of the past 5 years. I was starting to struggle to find the images in the Drive folders prior to 2021. So that's where I started. But I think there's a little bit earlier than that. But today's a little bit of our Eras tour recap. And I'm super excited to get your perspectives and share with our audience what really worked in these periods. What was the evolution? What did we learn from them? What really stands out? And there were so many ads to choose. It was very difficult. It was so difficult to pare it down. I wanted to talk about them all. But before we get into that, anything you guys want to share?
I love that you mentioned the Eras going on the Eras tour. As a Taylor Swift fan myself, I'm thrilled to go down memory lane. And yeah, GrowthHit, you guys have been such a big part of our growth. You know, we celebrated 10 years last year. So to spend 5 of them together and scaling has been really special. And Jordan, we've worked together for so long. So it's really, I'm excited to take a look back and kind of, make some assumptions from where we started to where we're at now.
Me too. Well, let's get into it. I'll share. We've got it queued up. I think that should work. I didn't get it as full screen as I wanted. So this is going to do. But this is our snapshot from 2021. And I have to give a big shout out to Angela. She is not on the GrowthHit team anymore, but she was such a core part of the design approach and really
Mhm.
owned a lot of this end to ends in these early years. And so it's super fun to see her work here. But I was really struck. Maybe try to get some of these to play a little bit. But it was really trippy because I remember launching some of these apps years ago. Yeah, I don't know what stands out to you, Eileen. This one on the top left was a money printer. It worked so well for so long. And there were a lot of iterations we tested with this.
Yeah.
You know, the backdrop with the flashes. We tested a lot of things like that, but the split screen with the little Marie Claire quote was the winner for ever.
Definitely. Well, it's interesting to see the difference between, you know, the high production value in the one to the right, the middle right, that was professionally shot with a videographer, and then on the left is something that was shot on an iPhone. So the high production value doesn't always necessarily mean it's going to like perform best. So I think that was really interesting to test. And yeah, the Marie Claire, I think that's when we kind of realized having names of publications and logos can really increase your credibility. And that's something that we've tested even beyond this. But it's so interesting to see because, 2021, some of these ads I feel like we could still run today and you would immediately know it's like distinctly Mestiza with the blue and white, the Georgiana, some of these dresses we still have on the website today. So it's so funny to look back and kind of see our creative direction has changed, but there still is like the recognizable element of Mestiza. And yeah, it's mostly videos, GIFs, and UGC, and we've kind of gone more into still images, but still test all of this today.
Yeah, those are great points. And even the slideshow is UGC images, the one on the top right.
Mhm.
The one with the girl in the trees, that one, I think that was the thumbnail for a lot of versions of this ad, and forever, I would just see that little image, and that was the top performer. It was so hard to beat it. It's so
That's so
cute.
funny.
But yeah, I love that you're bringing in the customers, the people who just really cherish the Mestiza brands in their own lives and bringing them into the ads. It works so well. And when we were talking before, I think this will come up again a little bit later, but this really high production videography, you guys don't do anymore. Now it's you with an iPhone at the shoot,
Yeah.
doing it yourself.
Pretty much, and it's funny, I think that's the first photo shoot I personally worked on when I had just started at Mestiza, and we
Wow.
had a videographer and we, gave him, "This is what we're looking for, we wanna use it for ads and website, etcetera,"
Mhm.
and he did a beautiful job, and then, you can see the Marie Claire, probably shot on an iPhone 13, is performing just as well, maybe even better than the high production one, and from there, iPhones have gotten better, but we've also found value in creating just more organic content and something that feels very approachable with a beautiful garment that is polished and perfect. I think there's something really interesting about that. So we've
Mhm.
continued to shoot on our iPhones and test things over social and bring that to paid ads, and it's worked well so far.
Yeah, it's super fun. Andrea, anything that stands up to you? Because I think some of these are probably brand new to you potentially to see. You've been working on the account for several years now, but this is a little bit before you. And a lot of this data isn't in the platform anymore because they purged. They're only keeping 3 years of data now. I'm curious,
Okay.
did these surprise you? Because
I feel the same, like I had the same feeling of the brand, like the dresses with the blue, with the flowers. So it's like really, really the same brand Mestiza. And yeah, I wasn't I this is the first time that I'm seeing these images, but they are really, really nice.
yeah, it's very, it's hard. I think a lot of people are trying and looking to really create a iconic classic brand, really nail that, and you guys have done such a great job of it.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do.
Well, progressing
progressing
you guys.
Thanks. There is a tension. I will be honest. Sometimes it's, especially in these earlier years, this tension between what's going to perform and then what feels more true to the brand's guideline. I think these days, those are so enmeshed, and the input on the playbook has gone in both directions, and we've arrived at this very point. But I do recall some meetings in these earlier years that were a little bit more challenging, talking about what actually is producing revenue and some of the beautiful images that we all loved that didn't. And it's not that they are bad or anything like that, but
it's so true. I feel like in these past 2 years, we were really just like, we had just come to you guys. We're like really testing things. You're telling us what's worked for other brands that you've worked with, and we're kind of just like, okay, like lead us into like a direction here. And it's funny to see because it's like all of these ads almost look like, we're testing all these different concepts. And then I think as we go through the years, we can kind of see like there's maybe more of a cohesive visual identity that we've continued testing into and continued following. Yeah, this one was beautiful.
It was really beautiful. This one ran on YouTube. I don't think
I completely forgot about.
I know. It's not necessarily a core part of today's playbook, but it is gorgeous.
Yeah, that was a great shoot. That was at Al's apartment in Brooklyn.
That's so fun.
So fun.
Yeah. Everyone on your team is just so immersed in all of these. It's so cute.
So true. We were all working from home at that point. And we all met up and we had our campaign shoot in New York City. We started at Al's apartment in Brooklyn, where she's no longer lives, but it's like so great. We captured this amazing content in her apartment, on her rooftop, or around the streets, which is really cool. There's always kind of this like personal touch to everything that we do. Even now with our campaign shoots in Palm Beach, we always go to Louisa's parents' home. So there's always kind of like a personal connection in all the content that I'm seeing.
I had no idea. So that's so cool.
Yeah.
Just the essence of the founders is embedded in these images on every level.
Exactly.
I'd love to get your reaction to this bottom left one. This one performed so well for so long, and it's pretty simple. I would say it's a little more salesy in a way, just the template of it, which is not something we're doing as much now, but it worked really well. I'm curious, Eileen, kind of how you view this ad in the overall lookbook.
I remember this one doing really well. And again, this was one of our like favorite shoots when we had just come off of it. We were so happy with the imagery. And I think at this point, that's when we kind of started making like hypotheses about where your eyesight goes when you look at an image, what, again, like a logo can do to add credibility to a brand. At this point, we were still kind of a little bit more under the radar. People were discovering us more. So we look at it and we're like, oh, maybe you're reading it like right to the left and you end up at the shop now button. And that's still something that we try and replicate. And again, it's a Flora mini dress, one of these styles that we've had on our website for years. And we might be fully sold out at this point, but it's one of those styles that you can kind of always come to our website and find.
Yeah, on Pinterest, we have been pushing the white Flora forever. It will not stop.
I'm actually surprised that's not on here because that is a true, like, that stands the test of time forever.
It really does. I should have included it, but that's such a great one. Andrea, I know that for you, like that's still a staple that you're still using.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, again, this is at the top of the one of the best creatives, but it's really good. It's working. So yeah.
Yeah. People love it. It's timeless, it's
Uh-huh.
classic, it's elevated. It is also cute. Like, but it's cute
Mhm.
in a very sophisticated way.
It's a close-up,
Exactly.
like, you can get a peek of the dress, but it's, like, not the full picture. It's
Mhm.
so funny. We'll continue running it probably forever.
Probably. I've had to defend it, so many different times because, your team was like, Can we try something new? Can we push something newer?" And we could, we totally could, but the people love it, so we're gonna keep giving the people what they wanna see.
Exactly.
And I love how the 2022 shows there's this other story arc through all of these slides that continues a lot into this year of different introductions of different products and different ways that Mestiza has expanded more holistically into the wardrobe. And so the PJs were such a big focal point, and they continue to be. They're super popular. People love them. They're so cute looking and make such great gifts. But it was
That's a
something we
really
were very focused on then.
Yeah, because when we started it, the brand was mostly cocktail dresses, evening wear, and, I mean, fast forward to today, we have swim, we have bridal, we have new product categories coming out. So it is interesting to see. This was probably when we first launched the loungewear collection, and we were like, "Let's really push it and get it out there."
I think it was. It was, and, yeah, so fun. The ad with her on the phone is just so
Mhm.
cute and bubbly. Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, let's make our way into 2023. This is classic Mestiza to me, just so much blue and white. But like
Yeah.
you just said, resort was not something we were really focused on in the earlier years. So it is interesting in my mind. This is what we still have the cocktail dresses and the more gowns, the full length gowns, but the context of them is that resort vibe.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at this and I see the Torero gown, the Eliana mini, the Lorena. Those are styles that, this Eliana like broke the internet, I feel like. Like we launched this and this dress like sold out so quickly. And these are styles that our customer continuously comes to our website for that we've done in different fabrications, different prints over the years. So it's yeah, it's very Mestiza, but it's like the point of view has evolved, and this was our first foray into more resort wear. It's shot in Palm Beach. It's very like vintage inspired, um, which is so fun to look at. But I think, now we don't do as much text on the screen. We've made some updates, but I recall this one image on the top left. This was the one that told us you don't just need a singular model in the image to do well. You can have two models and it can still perform. And that was like a learning that we took away from this ad performing well. Jordan, what do you remember?
Yeah, that was really fascinating. For so long, if we put multiple models in an ad, it would flop. And some of that I think comes probably down to the art direction of the image itself. And some of them were very well suited for print, for more of these larger format places that you use images. But for some reason in the ads, it's just such a small space that you're trying to communicate through. What the transition to me was the outfits became more complementary, or they followed more of, if I think of interior design basic principles, which you're very deep in fashion, there are a lot of parallels. I see a lot more of that going on. I kind of think of the ad canvas almost as this
Mhm.
interior for us to design and really give the eye things to take in, make sure we have great focal points, make sure the balance of the colors and the textures is really complementary. There's a lot of really fun images that never worked because the background was just too busy. An example is there were
Mhm.
all these beautiful images at the beach. They were gorgeous, so inspirational. Like if I saw that just as content, I would love it was
Yeah.
beautiful. But I think what was happening is the model and that the dress and the fashion was really getting lost in the sea. Literally. It was
Lost
there's
at
just
sea.
yeah, there's just too many slight variations of color behind it. These do such a great job framing. I mean, the arch is obviously high textured, but it's really framing the models and kind of making them a cohesive unit. And you see this evolve and develop a lot as we approach 2025. You guys have just done such an amazing job moving to really just the way you pair people, the outfits, the models, how they're engaging with each other, where people's eye lines are. Just a lot of little things that I think people, it seems like this stuff is easy and simple and random. It really isn't. We don't always know which image exactly is going to perform best, but there's a lot that goes into even when you guys choose photos.
Yeah.
From the initial
It's
shoot.
so true. It's like, I think when this was, again, like such a big learning for us, but we've become, I mean, since 2023, fast forward to now, again, like we've become so intentional with the shots that we're capturing, how we're positioning them, what the background looks like, and where we're leveraging this imagery. And in my world, I'm always focused on ads and what's going to look best in a 9x16 frame. Where is the logo placement going to go? Is there a clear space for it? But yeah, it's something that we've really like drilled into. But when we were first starting out, we were discovering all of this with, you know, help with you guys along the way. But it took us a bit of time to really, you know, work that muscle on the Mestiza side and be intentional. Okay, this image doesn't need to just perform for the homepage banner or for social, it needs to work for ads as well.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people miss because a media buying team or any agency you're working with who's running the ads, they are limited by the assets you provide them. And it is not easy to coach people to get the initial material that really
Yeah.
translates well. And in this industry, it's a little different. In some industries, using AI a lot more can help bridge the gap. I know you guys have talked about just helping resize things, which is different than making things whole cloth. But it's not easy to get things, like you said, to fit in that 9x16 frame. And I don't know if people realize this all the time, but ads run in so many different sizes and placements. It's not that simple. And I see Andrea nodding as well. This is such a tension point because sometimes things look really beautiful in one way, but they have to be adjusted or just can't work in the feed versus the story. And we have to follow the revenue in terms of the placements, right? We can't be so precious and say we're only going to show this, we're only going to do stories. Like that wouldn't be a super profitable decision.
Yeah. And even this morning we're looking at it and we're like, oh, this doesn't look as good in a square format.
Yeah.
It's so true. You have to really think about where it's going to show up and what really is like the strongest image based on, you know, from this entire shoot, whittle it down to like that hero shot.
Absolutely. Andrea, anything you'd add? I know that's an ongoing conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes this image looks really good, and then when it's like a square format, the head or like the text or something is weird, and then like, oh my god, how I'm going to make this fit like really good. And when it's like a gift that is moving, so like the model is one side of the other one, it's more difficult. So yeah, that's something that it's hard to see, but like it's necessary because we cannot run the ads only on stories, or like we need to be everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are great points. But yeah, this feels like a splash into the resort era. And like you said, oh yeah, we can actually play with multiple models, even after years of Jordan telling us. But
it's always fun when you're surprised and it's like,
love
okay, this, you know, we'll test into what we know, but also let's try something new and see if it sticks.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, let's keep moving forward into 2024.
This was our first splash into, actually I should use that for the swim ads, but this was our first spin into convertible. with some of our reversible pieces or pieces that can be worn multiple ways. So yeah, you see this like really like cheeky type of video that we started experimenting with. Oh my gosh, such a throwback. But the lemons, again, it's like a print that you'll see on our website. We have a new iteration of lemons on our site now, and it's like that's definitely Mestiza, but we've, changed some of our, the direction in which we do these videos, but the brand still feels the same.
Totally. Yeah, convertible was so fun. We tested so many iterations of things, and you guys have come so far. It's been really exciting to see how people respond to the products. I think
Mhm.
it's citronella. It's not citronella. You know what the
You're talking
tiered.
about, yes, oh my god, the pink, citrine gown, I think?
That sounds more correct. I'm like, I don't think it's citronella. It was definitely a C. Beautiful
Yes,
tiered gown, and the layers zip off, so you have a cute mini and a midi
yeah,
and a full length. So fun. How
that was
has your
fun.
audience responded to that? I know it gets a lot of engagement, especially the zipper ones. Anytime we're showing things getting
Yes.
zipped up and down, like,
Our trope, I mean, what comes to mind wasn't necessarily the first convertible collection. I think that was like us getting the word out that we're doing something that's really innovative and cool. Let's lead them understand like, Misty's is the destination for this. But then it wasn't until our trope from fall went mega viral on Instagram organically that was like, whoa, like we're really doing something cool here. And you can still see it if you go to our Instagram page. I think it's like still pinned as one of our top uh, top posts. But yeah, I mean, it's really taken off on Instagram, and our customers love it. I mean, you get multiple pieces for the price of one, so like it's a great um, addition to your closet. But yeah, since we've launched, it's been so fun, and the design team kills it. They're bringing it in, they brought it into swim, they're bringing convertible to bridal. So I feel like the sky's the limit when it comes to what we can put our convertible tag on.
I feel like once people discover the convertible bridle, that is gonna go crazy. Because who
Mhm.
doesn't want something that they can modify, wear for multiple
Yeah.
events through the day? That's
Everyone
super
wants an
cool.
outfit change, so,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
and it
add a
makes
little
it so
drama,
easy.
take it away.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. Yeah, and I feel like during this time, you guys really leaned a lot more into the iPhone videos. There was kind of this period where we weren't doing as much video content like this that I would call videography
Mhm.
versus more of a slideshow. So this was super fun. We also have, on the shoe. I mean, both are on the shoe, but I love how
Mhm.
you did both more the lifestyle and the e-com style.
Yeah.
But people
Yeah,
love
in the
it.
studio, I mean, I think I remember this one in studio, like, did super well, and it kind of took us by surprise, but so interesting to see. I mean, and again, today we have behind the scenes videos from our e-com shoots that still perform super well.
Yeah, this was kind of a sneaky, "Oh, sure, we'll test it." I think I remember Louisa not being super optimistic about it. It
Mhm.
was kind of, "Here's what we've got. We know we've been wanting to do video.
Yeah.
Here it is. Let's just test it because you never know." And it's
Yeah.
still very on brand, it's still within the Mestiza aesthetic. It's just I think in those earlier years, we were really maybe overthinking what it takes to create content
Mhm.
that resonates with people.
Yeah, it's true, and it's as simple as taking out your iPhone and then, cutting it into something that can hold everyone's attention
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
making it live.
Now tell me about this bottom left, this girl at the beach, living her best life.
I think we ran this for 6 plus months. I remember, like, we there was no reason to ever pause it.
Yeah.
And we always kind of look back to this image because it did so well. And like we kind of hypothesize again, like, okay, her eyes looking at the logo, the composition is really strong, and there's clear space where there's high contrast between the logo and the sky. You know exactly who it's for. You know, this girl's lounging on a beach, she looks relaxed. And we've taken this into our direction for future shoots, and we've tried to recreate it in different ways. And it, again, this was like a learning that we've discovered, and it continues to be something that we think about when we plan our shoots moving forward.
This one's so crazy. It's hard to replicate. There's a lot of subtle things that are working for it. It's very well proportioned and balanced, the way the logo is on the sky. But I would not have picked this out as what I would project to be the top performer based off of anything else that had done well. And in a lot of ways, it breaks many conventions. It's hard to see the dress. It's not as product forward as a lot of the other stuff.
Those are good points. Yeah, I'm always thinking about like what was the good that came from this, so we can do it back, run it back again. And I like how you're like, this actually goes against a lot of our previous learnings.
It does.
You want to be that girl, so that's why.
You want to be there. Yeah. Yeah. And Andrea, did we relaunch this the next year? I think we did.
I think we did, yeah. It was like performing so good that we did.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We may have, I think we reordered it, and yeah, we're like, it already did well. Let's do it
and
again.
Maybe the product itself, which is interesting too, because you can't really see it very well. Like, so, I think it speaks to people love the gowns and the dresses, and this is a very relaxed image. Like Andrea said, you want to be there. It's fascinating because it breaks almost all the rules. So I think to me, the takeaway is don't be afraid to try different things. If there's an image that really emotionally resonates and emotionally hits and fits other design principles, then go for it. You never know.
It's so true.
Yeah, we're surprised constantly because I would have thought this image, it's small, the one next to the zipper, I would have thought that would overtake the chair one. It's beautiful. It's glitzy. It's so well executed. It's well framed.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You can see the texture of that dress way more clearly than you can on the bottom left.
Yeah.
And I think that was like my favorite part of it. It's like you can really understand the dress in the image, and it's like if you love it, you're going to click into the ad and buy it. Yeah, that was a great dress.
There's a lot of attention to detail that you all put in the collections that I think people are craving, but it's absent more and more in fashion. Just these little fit and finish, just being able to really see I don't know if it's embroidery, but there's texture. That's what feels so luxe versus there's just so much out there that feels flat.
So true.
But I totally would have guessed that one would win. And then another really sneaky one and another one in that two model vein, we have this one. This is a certified banger, just like the chair one. This one ran forever.
Yeah, this one I think we reordered it because these styles like flew, and it did so well. But yeah, again, this was for our spring collection. It's getting people in the mindset of like warm weather is coming. It felt very colorful and vibrant. And it broke the internet for what we could do for dual models moving forward.
Yeah, they're just such a cohesive unit. The coloring is there, and I love how it's almost pattern mixing. You have more of a geometric, if we want to call it pattern, but like the two-tone. And then on the left, we have the pattern that plays off of it really well. So it's hard to say. These things are so multivariate, and we put so much care and attention into how we craft things, but it is difficult to know what exactly about an image is why it takes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was another, we relaunched it. Like heading into 2025, there was stuff from 2024. And that's a takeaway for me big time working with you guys. We don't have to reinvent the wheel every year. We do need to keep mixing things in because that's how we find these delightful discoveries that totally change the way that we approach work moving forward. But don't let go of what has been foundational.
It's so true. It's like whenever we come and we're putting together our creative, it's looking at what we know does work for us, our pillars at this point. We've worked together long enough to know, like, okay, based on the past 5 years, this is most likely going to perform. But then also taking the new fun perspective of like what's happening on social, what's working well organically that maybe feels modern and fresh and maybe a little trendy, and take that approach to test new things. And then, yeah, we continue to refine from there. So it's really fun to see.
Absolutely. So heading into 2025, you guys are at this point just slaying in terms of the cohesiveness of the dual models. Again, like you see similar things here, all three of these. You see more of a solid or just less not noisy, but just less of a small, you know what I mean? Like it's like you have a pattern with something that has detailing on it, but is not, we're not having like two completely different color schemes with different patterns that are really busy competing with each other. The way they all are embracing each other. I mean, we'll play them because they're just.
Yeah. This feels like a turning point. Like the previous years and then 2025, I feel like we really saw that shift where our creative felt very strong with our visual identity. And then it also aligned super well with our website. I feel like this is when we really like saw it all coming together and working really well. And I mean, you can see a lot of these styles are like bright, vibrant, and they contrast against the background. This Narita gown on the bottom left did exceptionally well, and it's a style I'm like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Because this style does so well on our website. Our customers love it, and this ad actually came out before the style was live on our website. So it kind of caused a frenzy of like, I need this gown. I want to wear it to XYZ event. How can I purchase it? And since then we've done it now for bridal, and we'll continue to bring it back.
Yeah, that was a really different approach we took, and we weren't sure how it would go because it's always a little risky to try to show people something that they can't purchase, but the hype cycle, it just, I think, created a lot of excitement for the product. And what I love about all of these is we're not spending a lot of money on a ton of videography. There is a lot of attention. These are just images that are really well executed. The GIF gives it some movement, but it's not like these are multi-$1,000 videos that maybe a brand's with a budget like, I don't know, Louis Vuitton or something trying to put a TV spot on. It doesn't take that. When the product is dialed in, when you really understand who you're talking to, and these are just so beautiful. And you've really nailed it. The middle one on the beach, it's so hard to get beach photography to work well in ads, but I think the orange color really breaks through. It's very harmonious with the blue and the beige of the sand. It just works.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite images still.
They're so cool. Like, I wanna be that. Like, I feel like they're so
I know.
like, my mind is creating characters that, I mean, I'm sure the models themselves are wonderful, but, it's like my brain is creating this cool story about like, oh, like these cool girls on vacation.
It looks warm. I want to be on a beach wearing a beautiful
Yeah.
dress.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then again, some simple still images. When I look at this, it's surprising to me. I don't see videography. I don't see a lot of the earlier templates with a lot of logo, like the social proof and things like this. It's really the photography doing a lot of the talking. We of course have the Mestiza logo, playing with different executions of that. I think this center kind of white, almost not legible approach has become really standard in the fashion space. So it fits in with that really well. But it's not like we're seeing a lot of crazy video. It's really just a better execution of the basics.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It feels very simplified. At this point, we don't have to try as hard because we kind of know what to capture. And I feel like you can really see this here versus our first year when we're getting more creative with the layouts. And,
Yeah,
that's before we had as many photos to work with. So that made sense. But now it's like, okay, you like kind of, you're on the right track here. You know what you're achieving with these images.
absolutely. Andrea, what's your impression been? Because you're sort of our audience in a way, because you are super immersed in what is running now. But what's kind of your impression of this evolution?
So, for example, from 2024, we had only one of the creatives with two models. This one we had three that worked great. So it really was like a huge learning. And the one with the brown it worked really well on Meta and Pinterest. It was like crazy. The ROAS on that one was really great. Even the blue one, the hand here,
Yeah.
it was like really, really good. So in overall, it's like the evolution of Mestiza, but it's still Mestiza through the years. Just getting the learnings of what is working and what is not working on that.
Yeah. Yeah, this picture with her covering her, this was another surprise. I don't think any of us thought that this was going to do as well as it did. There were other photos in the lineup that I think we kind of liked more,
Yeah.
but what I like about this, it breaks the fourth wall. So I
I
wonder
knew
if
you were
that's
going to
it.
say
Yeah.
that. I was going to say, I remember when we were first looking at this, remember you saying it breaks the fourth wall. And I was like, oh, you're onto something there.
Yeah, she's looking right at you.
Yeah. It's like, you want this dress.
Yeah, there is a confidence in
Yeah.
her, the like it is a
And this
power
one.
pose.
That's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, and I think it might be like the framing of it, it works really well in the feed format. I wonder if it wouldn't work as well maybe in some other types of execution. Like I can see maybe above, the one above, if they're doing kind of like a superwoman pose, that might feel weird.
hmm
But here it just works. I don't know. It's super fun.
That's a good point. And I
I
think you're
feel
also
seen.
intrigued because you're like, where does the dress, is it a mini, a midi? You're kind of intrigued because it doesn't give you the full picture
Yeah.
versus, yeah, if that was like a full frame image, I might be like, not as interested.
I think this is a spirit sister to the chair, where it
Mm,
breaks a lot of typical conventions of what our playbook is. It's very
mhm.
unique. I think it's going to be difficult to replicate exactly because it's its own thing. Not to say we can't continue to try, but
Yeah.
those feel similar to me, and they're not crazy. It's not like we sunk hours. It's beautiful photography. That's
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
It's also a strong dress. Like it's really so a strong pose with a strong dress is like I want
That's a
that.
good point. That's a good
Yeah.
point. Maybe my hypothesis that this isn't going to work with the one above is less about the framing and it's more about the colors. The
Mhm.
it is strong. It's a strong color. The cut of it is structured. It has like the beautiful sleeves and detailing, but it's more sculptural
Mm.
versus some of these others are more soft and flowy. So kind of
Yeah.
That's a good point.
matching the model tone and pose and positioning with the emotional tone of the actual dress.
Yeah. I think you make a good case about, like, if the dress itself I interests our customers because this was actually a really great seller. So, I think there is that level of intrigue where it's like, "Oh, I actually can envision myself wearing that." It's
Mhm.
it serves a lot of customers because it's sleeved, it's kind of like a very flattering fit. So I think you bring up a really great point.
Yeah. And that fits into, I want to go back to it because it's just wild that this ad did as well as it did. The beach one and the chair,
Mhm.
I think it's similar. The dress is what people love. People love Mestiza. They don't love ads, right? That's not that's not really what's going on. They love Mestiza, and the feeling that you get from this image and the pose matches and mirrors the dress itself.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
think that's true in both cases. Wow, I learned a lot from
Really.
you guys today. I really had never put that together, but I don't know, I think that's what it is. It's like lean into what people are really resonating with the actual
Yeah.
collection, not try to create like artificially create something that it should be organic. It should be an organic extension of why you even made the piece to begin with.
Mhm. That's so true. Yeah. You always have to kind of come back to that and think about, like, does this make sense in the environment? Is the person purchasing this gonna wear it here? It's so true.
Yeah. And the story is not over, guys. You all really should go follow Miss Tiza on Instagram, especially. But their emails are also beautiful, really well done. The
Yes.
team is doing such a good job. And yeah, I mean, you guys are crushing it. You've been experimenting with a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of collaborations with
Mhm.
fans and lovers of Miss Tiza and showcasing them. It's been really fun to watch. It is a little different than the ads lineup, but I really encourage everyone to see what they're doing because they're pulling all the stops, and I think they're doing so it in a very sophisticated, elevated way, which is difficult to find these days. There's a lot of slop. There's a lot of slop to wade through, and this is just a breath of fresh air.
Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, we try and show a little bit more of, like, the realness behind the brand. You'll see, like, our team setting up for the trunk show, and you'll kind of see, like, organic videos that we took behind the scenes at the campaign shoot. So, I like to think our ads are, like, perfectly polished. Our website is everything that's it looks beautiful and very put together, but then you can get more of an inside scoop on the process on our Instagram.
Absolutely. Like, this is so cute and so fun. These are the founders. We wouldn't be here without
So
them.
fun. Oh, they look great.
They do. I love that they're getting out there more, because they're both gorgeous and so fun. So
And
it's
great in front of the camera.
I
Why not? I mean,
know,
our
I know.
customers love to see them in Mestiza, and they wear it so well, obviously.
Yeah, they do. So I love seeing you guys kind of take risks creatively, but it's all done in such a tasteful way. It really inspires me and continues to be a resource I point other people to. Like, go study. Yeah.
Years in the making.
It really is. It does not happen overnight. Well, to close, I think, Eileen, and Andrea, maybe we start with you. Like, what is one thing that you think other fashion founders or even not fashion founders, what's something they should try this week, next week, this month that could really make a difference for their storytelling, how they're getting in front of people creatively online? Maybe that's a big question, but
Yeah. I was like, okay. No, I mean, like, I something that, for example, Mestiza did really good is like the communication between the organic and what they do on ads. So sometimes it's like why ads are doing great is like, okay, because the brand in general is doing great and it like supports the overall strategy as a brand and as a company. So in terms of creatives, is I think it's like a relationship between the organic and ads. And as we saw, like across all the years, like don't be afraid to test and to try new things, but also support on what is working and what worked in the past. So yeah, I will say that.
I love that. I love how you highlight the relationship between them. And, you and I, we run a lot of ads. We're really good at it.
Yeah.
But the reality is we don't make a business out of thin air. We really amplify a business. And so it's
Yeah.
crucial to have a point of view, to have a perspective, to have really a sense of curation and style that can be a decision-making lens to filter out. There's a lot of things you could run. I know Eileen before earlier today we're talking about, people are like, you can make 1,000 ads with AI and test them. Is that really what works? I don't think it is. I think there's a middle ground. We have to, like we saw in this presentation today, we're testing. You guys are definitely pushing yourself out of the box, trying different approaches, different ways of executing. But it's not just automate a bunch of stuff and throw it up and cross your fingers.
Exactly. And I think what people come to us for is at this point, they know the brand, they know that they can come to us for some of our core styles that they've loved over the years, and they can buy it in a new print that feels modern for the season. And it's not something we're, throwing up 1,000 different versions of. It's like, the brand, this was shot on real people. We test new concepts, but we also bring back what we know our customers love. And I think that trust between brand and consumer is ultimately what converts. So we like to, make sure we're preserving that as well.
Absolutely. That's well put. Is there any other advice you'd like to close with? That was all really good. Yeah.
I mirror exactly what Andrea said. I mean, we really are seeing the synergy between organic social, what performs well over email, making sure it makes sense with what's happening on our website. And at this point, we really feel like a well-oiled machine where everything's really working together. And if that all feels aligned and, on par with your brand identity, that's the goal at the end of the day. And it's to have your customer know exactly who you are, what you do, and build that trust with the consumer.
You make it sound so easy. You guys are doing such a great job. Well, thank you both so much for joining me today. This was so fun. Maybe we'll do it again in the future. But yeah, everyone really ought to go check out Mestiza New York, either on their website or their Instagram. And you can find plenty of free resources at growthhit.com if you are an e-commerce founder. And let us know what conversations do you want to see in the future. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank you.